Made smoother than your smoothest criminal. Shamo, about that money, what we get into. Shamo, about that money, get residuals. Shamo.
Yes. Yes, 2 times. Y'all know the vibes though. She like, they go. She like, they go. Okay. Okay. That knock. What it do, people? You're now tuned in.
Popovitz.
Popovitz
TV. Oh yeah.
We live, we rolling, we unscripted, we authentic, that feeling. Back up in here one more again. So if it's your first time, go ahead and hit the like button, subscribe, hit the notification bell. To everybody else, you already know. Tony, there was no other way. We in the end game now. And we is in the end game, people. And we in the end game because Big Pun once said, ready for war, Joe, how you want to blow they spot? I know some dirty cops that'll get us in there. We murder some wop. Hop in the Hummer, then punish us ready. Meet me at Vito's with noodles. Let's do this, do while we slurping spaghetti. Everybody kiss the fucking floor. Joey crack, buck them all. If they move noodles, shoot that fucking whore. Dead in the middle of Little Italy. Little did we know we murdered 2 men who didn't do diddly. That's always a tongue twister, you know what I mean? And if you know, you know. And then on the 4th verse, Fat Joe said, I support PuN in anything he does, anything he loves. A brother from another mother sent from the above. A thug nigga just like me. One of the best might be. Even better, got niggas kneeling on their right knee. Spike Lee couldn't paint a better picture. You small change, I'm blowing out your frame, getting richer. Hit you with the Mac. Now, y'all know how the verse go. Yeah, and the don't stop. It's still 187 on a, you know what I mean? They jacked Snoop Dogg and Drake, you know what I mean? Undercover cop. And in 1998, while I was in, where I was that night? I was in Elmira. They killed that. You know what I mean? Like, they killed that. And fast forward, you know what I mean? Obviously, unfortunately, 2 years later, Big Pun died. You know what I mean? And then now you fast forward years later again, 23 years, Big Pun been dead. And obviously, he's one of the best. You know what I mean? He, in my opinion, with only 2 albums, obviously, that knock him out of the top 5. That knock him out of the top 10. That really knock him back. In my opinion, this is a side note. Even though this is a PuN video and what's going on with him and Joe and Whack 100. You see the thumbnail. You see the title. In my opinion, certain rappers like the bigs, you know, the big L's, the big puns. You know what I mean? It's funny they all got big, right? Rest in peace, all of them. You get knocked out in my book if you only have a little bit of body of work. And even though both PuN albums is classics, obviously both Big albums is classic, and it's really like he got 3 albums because one was a double disc, and then Big L obviously innovating with, you know, the slangs and the ebonics and all that, you know what I mean, rapping with Lord Finesse, digging in the crates, etc. A lot of people had Big L was the top, but because their lives was cut short, and they, in my opinion, they didn't get to reach full potential, they get knocked down a lot of pegs and other people go before them. But anyway, Big Whack, Whack 100, you know what I mean? Came out on the Panda Chop Show, which is a YouTube channel I just started following. You know what I mean? I'm in these YouTube streets, I'm in these YouTube alleyways, and they should have never. And, you know, he came out speaking with him about the Fat Joe situation and how he inked the deal. And finally, you know what I mean, as it's been years and years and years, because I kept wondering too myself, like they did the Big movie, they did the Tupac movie, the Wu-Tang Saga series is fire. To me, that's what we're going to see. That's a high bar, and obviously Wu-Tang Clan is one of the top tier groups of all time, you know what I mean, of all time as far as rap is concerned. You know what I mean? What they did, the legacy, etc. And they got you know, the street named after them. And Wu-Tang loved the kids. Y'all hear me quote ODB a few times, who I met. I met Ray. I met RZA out in LA, etc. We've been wondering when the Big Pun series or movie was going to come out. And according to Whack, Fat Joe has been curving, has been blocking, has been 52 blocking, if you ask him. You know what I mean? On the Pan the Chop show. And this is some of the things that he said.
Man, roll the clip.
I just looked out for New York and got the big PuN deal done with New York was blocking that lady. Y'all had her homeless and fucked up. Nobody had no money. Oh, hold on. You talking about his baby mama? Oh, my mama just did her deal. Damn, you don't fuck over a lot of people. A lot of people gonna be upset. I just did Elijah's deal. It's locked and cocked. It's done. Man, you better. You said you cool with Fat Joe been blocking everybody. You said you cool with Pistol Pete from Terror Squad. I'm cool with Pistol Pete and Joe. I call Joe right now. You know. You know they don't fuck with them people. That's what I'm saying. It don't matter. That's that man's wife and his children, bro. That's that man's story. Stop blocking them and let them people. The people was homeless. What kind of niggas you is? That man is dead, bro. You robbed him for $4 million already. I seen the works. $4 million you never gave his wife and kids none of his 30% cut. 1.2 million should have went to his wife and kids. They was homeless in a homeless shelter. When you New York niggas don't stand for what's right. I think a lot of people don't know the details of that shit. Like
he said when you New York niggas gonna stand for what's right. And if you familiar with the channel, Pop of his TV, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button. I spoke about, the dynamics between the East and the West and how in a lot of instances we be looking like little bro and it be sucker shit like this. But, you think of the Mano had to go to T.I. to get the deal. You just think about how a lot of stuff play out. But anyway, that's a side note. We know Wack, could be a little messy. He always on Clubhouse. He always on the internet talking crazy, yelling back and forth, whole grown man, etc. But, according to the paperwork or whatever, obviously it looks like Fat Joe did book her for $4 million. And she came out since Wack came out with this video, and then he also came out with another video kind of like backtracking a little bit. He said the deal is still done for the TV series or the docket series or whatever they're going to do, and I'm excited about that. I definitely would love to see a big PuN story, whether it's on the big screen or whether it's in series form like how they did the Wu-Tang. But, it said that she came out, she like, listen, I've been out the shelter since 2009, you know what I mean? And I believe the settlement was done in 2016. If you in the know, then you in the know. If you're not, you could correct me. But from what I gather is, Fat Joe was giving her an option of you can take X amount of money or you can get the estate. She chose the estate, which in my opinion was the smartest thing she and her family could have done, because now she has rights to all of the music, which is the 2 albums, etc. And she can do what she want with it. I think it was, the friction because she came out, said Fat Joe robbed her. He didn't give what was supposed to be given, etc. And again, it's a lot of politics. I did a video when they named the street after PuN in the Bronx, how Fat Joe didn't go, etc. And it's a lot of tension. I believe Lil PuN, is a rapper as well, and he don't really get no assistance. And Cuban Link's been speaking about this for years. So my thing is this, right? Not only is it foul if it's true, but it's super foul. Because I support PuN in anything he does, anything he loves. A brother from another mother sent from the above. It's almost like the whole thing with Beanie Siegel. And it's like if I died and I'm going to come back and Siegel going to be the sequel, however that line go on Once Again This Song, on that album right there, on that song, Once Again This Song, we ain't done with niggas, Nightmare Medulla niggas. And him and Hov went back to back super crazy. Both of them had fire verses and fire bars. But it's a few times, know what I mean, when he Beanie Siegel was the after, he's the next, and woo, woo, and And you see how that relationship turned out. And side note, that's why we give the Locks they props. That's why I give the Locks they props. That's why I give them they flowers. And anybody that's day ones, started from the bottom, now we here, and you still rocking with people, even though you're not going to agree on every little thing. Now, if you say, if that was my man, I think, I got to throw people out there that I rock with, but I got people that I rock with from day one. I can't even get into so many things that they may have done for me or I may have done for them. You know what I mean? And I can't imagine if one of them died, even if it was a problem with their spouse or their moms or something like that. In my opinion, as a stand-up and honorable and honor-up, you supposed to make shit right. it's no way that you're not supposed to make things right. And this makes New York look bad. Now, I mean, that's overall. Obviously, this makes Fat Joe look bad. But overall, when you look at the hip hop, how people be doing each other, and you see like New York for a long period of time, a lot of us wasn't getting features with one another. We missed out on a lot of songs. And then you seen down south and in other areas, a lot of people was collaborating. A lot of people was, you know what I mean, putting out good music. And New York was losing for a long time. In fact, when I came home in 04, I was mad that somebody like Jeezy, everybody was running around with snowman shirts on and all that, and just really rocking the wave, you know what I mean? Thug motivation, like first off, I'm gonna stack my flow. And then later on, I end up liking Jeezy, you know what I mean? Liking his music. You know what I mean? He not in the top 10 or top 5 or nothing like that. Let's be clear. But I was like, damn, y'all rocking with his album over a Lloyd Banks album? Over a Jadakiss album? And that's the Y album. You know what I mean? I learned the game. I know what I want and I'm in it. My time is now. It's gonna be up in a minute. That album, super fire. But a lot of niggas was rocking that Thug Motivation 101. And a lot of that, in my opinion, in that era, 2004, 2005, moving on up, the South, you know, they put a chokehold, you know what I mean, on hip hop, and New York lost out a lot because you're beefing with each other. You're not putting out good music. You're not doing a lot of collaborations, but it's also a lot of blocking. And you hear Cuban Link come out, you know, he like Angie Martinez and certain people you block, and you even hear a Noriega. He like, you know, a journalist, we supposed to be a whore, and I don't know where you being a whore at, Noriega. I don't subscribe to that. That's side note. Popovich TV, we don't subscribe to that. But you see him talking. I forget who he was talking to. Oh, he was talking to Mav Hoffa. Shout outs to Mav and Expert Opinion. So he like, yeah, you know, as a journalist, as an interviewer, you know, you got to be a whore. But I never would interview Cuban Links, and it's like, bro, you supposed to be unbiased in your opinions. No, not in your opinions, but in your views. When you interviewing these different people, no, you're supposed to interview Fat Joe. And you're supposed to interview Cuban Link so that the fans can hear both sides and we can choose what's right and what's wrong. But you see, it's a lot of backdoor politics. A lot of niggas choose fist over dollar, and they're not honorable. You know what I mean? They're not. And so shout outs to all the real right ones. Shout outs to everybody that, you know what I mean, get it out of the mud and stay true to their self. Number one, being authentic to their self, but also keeping it real with the people that's around them. That's why it's so important of watching who you got around you, as I said in my last video. Because just like if you get the wrong chick pregnant, fellas, it could be over for you. The same way if you have the wrong people in your circle, it could finish you. So let me know your thoughts. Is Fat Joe a scumbag? Is he the scum of the earth? Is there stuff that we don't know? A lot of people like, yo, a lot of this happened too because, you know, PuN wife, you know what I mean, she came out, said he was a domestic violence, you know, abuser, used to beat her, you know, kind of painting him in a bad light right after he died. It's really like some Gayle King, you know what I mean, right after Kobe died. Well, you know, what are you talking about? You bringing up stuff, and you know, you're not even giving the family the chance to mourn, or the fans. And obviously her mourning and the family is impacted even more than the fan. So don't get me wrong, that's his wife. But even, you know, like I said, I'm reading in the Source magazine or whatever magazine it was, because I was locked up in 2000. So I was like, damn, I didn't know he was a wife beater. I didn't know he was doing this type of shit. So you start looking with the side eyes like, damn, but is it true? Because he wasn't here to say his side. So you're like, nah, Fat Joe ain't rocking with because of this, because of that. Come to find out, it's over some money, and you kind of stole $4 million, and she's supposed to get X amount of dollars, and she didn't. I think, it doesn't shock and amaze me when you put the beat on. That's a side note. I'm not shocked and amazed when you put the beat on, but it's just like, damn, when will the buffoonery and the fuckery and the deceit and the snakeism and all that, you know, end? And the chances are it probably won't, because we're in the end game. But let me know your thoughts down in the comments. It's your guy, Popovich. Y'all was just tuned in. Popovich TV. We live, we rolling, we unscripted, we authentic, that feeling back up in here. One more again. Yeah, kid.